Let's count down 15 country songs that didn't just soundtrack 1971, they steered it. These weren't just songs, they were smoky jukebox sermons and heartland confessionals. And the final track, it rewrote the rules of country and nearly burned them down.
They just threw up their hand and said, son, when you had nothing.
She's a good-hearted woman in love with a good time.
How can I say the things I said to you?
Number 15, That's Why I Love You Like I Do by Sonny James.
One of the finest vocalists of our country. Here is the Southern gentleman, Mr. Sonny James.
Sonny James was a quiet giant, a voice that didn't shout, but still filled every room. In 1971, he gave us That's Why I Love You Like I Do, a warm, melodic embrace that kept his unbelievable hot streak alive. This wasn't just another chart topper. It was one of 16 consecutive #1 hits, a feat that made him a country radio legend.
That's why I love you like I do.
The track's charm was in its simplicity. No drama, no despair, just pure golden affection. And sometimes that's what a restless world needs most. Next, a song that poured whiskey on poetry and made it burn beautifully. Number 14, Lovin' Her Was Easier Than Anything I'll Ever Do Again by Kristofferson.
Take the ribbon from your
You don't just hear this one, you drift inside it. Kristofferson had a poet's pen and a drifter's soul, and Lovin' Her Was Easier is one of his softest punches. Released in 1971, it barely cracked the top 30 on the country charts, but its influence was seismic. Covered by dozens, whispered by thousands, it's become a cult favorite for those who live between heartbreak and peace. It wasn't a hit in the charts, it was a hit in the hearts, and sometimes that's the more dangerous kind.
Loving her was easier than anything I'll ever do again.
But coming up next, a voice that broke barriers and never asked permission. Number 13, I'm Just Me by Charley Pride.
We think you will enjoy our special guest this evening, a gentleman who really knows how to sing country songs, Charley Pride. Let's give him a nice welcome.
If you ever walked into a room and dared to say exactly who you are, this song's for you. I'm Just Me was Charley Pride at his boldest, not shouting, not apologizing, just standing. It went straight to #1, but more than that, it became an anthem of selfhood during a time when country music was still learning how to listen. Pride's smooth delivery wrapped defiance in silk, proving that authenticity doesn't need volume, it needs truth, pure and proud.
I just tried to be exactly what you see.
And inspired a generation of misfits and dreamers. But next, we cranked the dial to a song that sizzled with southern charm and a whole lot of heat. And I'll write you a poem if you hit the subscribe button right now. Number 12, When You're Hot by Jerry Reed.
For more than a decade, Jerry Reed has been the guy other stars and musicians around Nashville have been turned on to. Now the whole country is.
This one strutted in with a grin and a guitar and never looked back. Jerry Reed's When You're Hot wasn't just a hit, it was a swagger. Released in 71, it shot to #1 on the country charts and even cracked the top 10 on the pop side. Reed's funky finger-picking and sly storytelling blurred the line between comedy and commentary.
Look out, here it comes.
It was country, but it swung. You could almost hear him winking between verses, and in a year of heartbreak ballads, that wink was a revolution.
They just threw up their hand and said, son, when you had nothing.
Next, a torch song dressed like a love letter, sung by a voice that could cut glass. Number 11, How Can I Unlove You by Lynn Anderson.
How can I unsay the things I said to you?
Lynn Anderson didn't just sing, she soared. And in 1971, she followed up her iconic Rose Garden with How Can I Unlove You, a song that climbed straight to number 1. Where Rose Garden defied expectation, this one leaned into heartbreak, pure, aching vulnerability in every syllable. Her voice danced between strength and surrender, showing that emotional depth could still dominate the airwaves.
How can I say the things I said to you?
It was orchestral country done right, and it made Anderson one of the first queens of crossover elegance. But what's next? A working woman's mic drop, wrapped in rhinestones. Number 10, Mr. Walker, It's All Over by Billie Joe Spears.
Thank you, Hank. It's good to be here with
And
you.
I'll
too.
bet you got another good song for all those folks out there.
I hope so.
Cheers.
Before 9 to 5, there was this. Billie Joe Spears unleashed Mr. Walker, It's All Over as a fiery message to bosses, barriers, and backhanded compliments. It hit in the early wave of country feminism, climbing the charts in '69, but owning its cultural footprint well into '71. The song told a story, a young woman quitting her job in a big city that never respected her. It wasn't bitter, it was done. And that quiet certainty was revolutionary. Country music had never heard anything quite like it.
Mr. Walker, it's all over. I don't like the New York secretary's line.
Next, a ballad that held every heartbreak and none of the bitterness. Number 9, I Can't See Me Without You by Conway Twitty.
Now, Conway's yelling to break in again. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's another Conway Twitty hit.
Conway didn't just sing about love, he lived in its ruins. I Can't See Me Without You was a tender unraveling, delivered with his signature croon that felt like velvet soaked in bourbon. Released in late 1971, it carved a direct path to the top 5, proving that Twitty didn't need drama to devastate. The song was simple, a man facing life without the one who defined him. And in that simplicity, it was so crushing. No theatrics, just a broken truth humming from a transistor radio.
I can't see me without you.
Up next, a sleeper hit that turned into one of the most beloved wedding songs in country history. Number 8, Easy Loving by Freddie Hart.
And it was the number 1 song this year. Here's the guy who wrote it and recorded it, Mr. Freddie Hart. Freddie!
This one slipped in softly and stayed forever. Freddie Hart's Easy Lovin' was released quietly in 1971, and then it exploded. A surprise number 1 hit that became a Grammy winner and CMA Song of the Year. It was sensual without being crude, heartfelt without being heavy. Hart's voice wrapped around the melody like silk sheets.
Bless your hearts, all of you. Thank you so much.
And suddenly, country music had a love song that felt both grown-up and golden. It didn't just climb charts, it lingered in people's lives year after year.
Easy loving.
But next, a road song that became a road map for generations. Number 7, Take Me Home, Country Roads by John Denver.
Country roads, take me home.
It starts with a whisper and ends as an anthem. Take Me Home, Country Roads may not have started on Nashville soil, but it grew roots fast. Co-written by Denver and released in 1971, it became a global phenomenon. West Virginia, Mountain Mama. You already know the words, but more than a chorus, it was a cultural compass. It reminded America of its back roads, its small towns, its simpler truths. Denver didn't just write a hit, he gave the whole world a home to sing about. Next up, a powerhouse duet that turned longing into electricity. Number 6, Lead Me On by Loretta Lynn and Conway Twitty.
That I'd never lead you on.
Some duets are sweet. This one, it burned, slow and dangerous. Lead Me On paired two country titans, Loretta Lynn and Conway Twitty, in a sultry blend of temptation and regret. Released in 1971, it climbed quickly to number 1 and cemented their chemistry as country's ultimate power pairing. The song was daring for its time, whispering of desires unspoken and love that lives just outside the lines.
Lead me on, take control.
You didn't just listen to it, you felt like you were eavesdropping, and that made it unforgettable. Coming next, a rebel anthem that took country out of the clean-cut shadows. Number 5, Good-Hearted Woman by Waylon Jennings.
A long time forgot, dreams that just fell by the way.
You could feel the dust on your boots with this one. Good-Hearted Woman marked Waylon Jennings' rise into outlaw country royalty. Released in 1971, it spun the tale of a woman who stood by her wild man. Flaws, bar fights, and all, Waylon's gritty baritone gave country music its swagger back.
She's a good-hearted woman in love with a good time.
The song didn't apologize for rough edges, it celebrated them. And in doing so, it helped launch a whole new movement, one that gave country permission to color outside the lines. Next, a kiss that changed the radio forever. Number 4, Kiss an Angel Good Morning by Charley Pride.
Angel, good morning. Love her like the devil when you get back.
Charley Pride wasn't just breaking records, he was breaking barriers. In 1971, Kiss an Angel Good Morning shot to number 1 and crossed over to the pop charts, making it one of his biggest hits ever. The melody was breezy, but the message was profound. Love can be simple, consistent, and still feel like magic.
Good morning. Over like the devil.
Pride's smooth delivery turned morning routines into poetry. And for a black band in the segregated South to top both country and pop charts, that was history, humming in harmony. But next, a late-night confessional that changed what country could be. Number 3, Help Me Make It Through the Night by Sammi Smith.
Here she is with her hit song written by our friend Kristofferson. Ladies and gentlemen, Sammi Smith.
This wasn't just a song, it was a shift in the soul of country music. Sammi Smith's take on Kristofferson's Help Me Make It Through the Night was intimate, fearless, and drenched in longing. Released in 1971, it topped the country charts and even broke into the top 10 on the pop side. A rare feat at the time, but more than commercial success, it brought sensual vulnerability into the spotlight. Sammy's voice didn't beg, it owned its loneliness, and country music would never be quite so buttoned up again.
Help me make it through the night.
Coming next, a highway hymn that was born in Nashville, but died a legend in rock. Number 2, Me and Bobby McGee by Kristofferson.
Feeling good was easy, Lord, when Bobby sang the blues.
You know the version. Janis Joplin's howl made immortal, but Me and Bobby McGee was born from Kristofferson's pen and Nashville's backroom brilliance. Written in the late 60s but rising to cultural dominance in 1971, it became a genre-defying juggernaut. The lyrics told of love lost on the road, with freedom and regret playing dueling guitars. When Janis took it to number 1 posthumously, it fused rock, soul, and country into one blazing torch. And Kristofferson, he became the poet laureate of the American drifter. But our number 1, a song that launched an icon and tore the country playbook in two. Number 1, I'm a Honky Tonk Girl by Loretta Lynn.
I listened to my album now back. It sounds like a jam session, and all the songs, I said, oh, I've got to hurry up and get off.
Before she was the queen, she was the girl behind this song, hustling her own records, knocking on radio station doors with her husband behind the wheel. I'm a Honky Tonk Girl wasn't released in 1971, but its legacy owned the decade. It was still spinning in 71, still whispering from jukeboxes and influencing every new female voice. Loretta Lynn wrote it, lived it, and fought to be heard. This song wasn't just her debut, it was the blueprint for what women in country could be. Loud, real, and unfiltered.
That Loretta should be given a chance. She appeared on Amateur Night and won the talent contest up against 30 other singers.
If you found this deep dive memorable, hit like and subscribe so we can keep the music alive. These weren't just tracks, they were sonic postcards from 1971 stamped with grit, grace, and rebellion. Which of these songs hit you the hardest or surprised you the most? Next up, we're diving into 1974, where the ghost of glam and folk clashed on every stage. You won't believe what made the list. Click the video on screen now to keep this journey going. Legends don't sleep, they echo forever.